A couple of months back, I was doing weekly blog updates, just talking to you about what I've been doing in game, sometimes what I've been doing out of game, and I pretty much just stopped. Some of you have asked when the next one's going to be, and the next one's going to be now. The reason I've not bothered doing one for a while is because, really, I'm just doing the same as what everyone else is doing, just raiding Ulduar, and that's about it. Or that was about it until about a week ago. So now I've got something interesting to share. I'm going to talk to you about what I've been doing on Classic, which is actually quite extensive because I'm raiding on multiple characters across multiple regions now as well. And as I've mentioned in multiple videos, I've actually been getting ready for Cata as well. And loads of you are instantly like, oh, Cataclysm, that's when I quit, or Cataclysm's not coming. We'll see. We'll start with Classic and then we'll move on to Cataclysm. But before we actually start with Classic, I want to give you a bit of a channel update, really, which is going to take all of 20 seconds because there's only really one thing changing over the next, I don't know, 2 to 3 months. And that's here on the main channel. I'm actually going to start putting out more non-WoW content. So as you know, or as many of you may know, I'm really excited for Ashes of Creation. I think that's going to start moving along over the next couple of months, so probably an Alpha 2 announcement coming quite soon. So I'm going to start covering Ashes of Creation. That's about it. I don't really want to do any more than 2 games because I haven't got enough time to play more than 2 games with 2 kids and a demanding wife. I say demanding, not that demanding, but you know what I mean. And over on Scottejaye Live, where there's a link in the description to my other channel, if you're not already subscribed, please go over there and subscribe. I'm going to start putting regular, short 2 to 3 minute clips from my live streams. So again, if you don't watch me over on Twitch, come check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Scottejaye87. But if you can't be bothered to watch live streams, I'll be putting loads and loads of just short clips of live streams, mainly probably from the Cata server, because I think that'll be a bit more interesting than what's going on in Classic at the moment. So starting with my Paladin on EU, I've been lucky enough to actually get Mimron's head recently, which is great. Gear-wise, not a lot's changed really, because I passed pretty much everything, because I've got mostly 10-man hard mode items, so when 25-man hard mode items drop, I tend to just pass it to somebody it's a bigger upgrade for. I did get the 10-man shield last week, which was nice, just because I've been using the same old voice of reason since Phase 2 launched. And I suppose the big one is I'm done with Valinir. So I literally got the very last fragment from Yogg last week, which was painful. Could have just got that one from Vezax instead, so I could have then gone on to Yogg and got Valinir, but instead, no, it's made me wait an entire reset. But on Wednesday, so tomorrow at the time of recording, be going in and getting Valinir. So that's ticked off. Mimron's head, Valinir, pretty well geared. Probably leave the Paladin and just disband the guild. No, don't tell them. Now, up until this point, I've actually had my off-spec as Ret, but mainly because I'm getting Valinir this week, I didn't see the point of having a Ret spec anymore because I'm definitely not going to be the healer that they're going to let flex to DPS. So I've actually gone back to Prot. I'm going to tank a 10-man tonight, just a 10-man Tier 7 World Tour just for lols. But I have actually been missing tanking. My tanking gear is not particularly impressive. I've just literally picked up whatever I can from emblems and just the odd off-spec piece here and there. But again, I've been passing all tanking gear purely because anytime we dropped a healer, it was normally me. Like, for example, on Hodir 25, if we needed to drop a healer or 2, I would go Ret. But now I'm going to use Valinir. It makes sense that the other Paladin goes Ret because, well, why waste that legendary? Outside of that, there's not really a lot to talk about. Achievement-wise, I've not got anything particularly impressive recently. I suppose he feeds on your tiers. If you count Algal on 10-man one-shot with no one dying is impressive, but it's probably not nowadays. And quite honestly, outside of raiding on the Paladin, I don't do anything anymore. So staying with Classic, this has actually been my new little project where I leveled a Shadow Priest, or well, just a Priest. I mean, I've gone Shadow, but I did level it originally to be a healer on Mankrik. So yes, if you've seen me around on Mankrik and you've wondered if that person whose name is Scottejaye is actually me, it is actually me. And I've been raiding with a great bunch of guys in the guild A Sense of Purpose. Now, for those of you who know Classic Go or even Mincy, they both raid in this guild, and that was what obviously got me wanting to come over and raid with those guys, because I raid with Mincy in EU, who's a rogue. He streams Mincy TV on Twitch. And Classic Go is obviously a boomy/druid lover, so obviously gonna get on well with him. I've killed everything with him other than Yogg 0, so killed Algalon, done all hard modes, done all hard mode 10-mans, everything on 10-man completely. And the gear's coming along. I mean, I've only actually had this priest for about 2 resets. I think this is actually the 3rd reset this week. The gear's looking pretty good. I've got 4 set. I've got a few sort of 10-man hard mode items. The thing that's really holding me back at the moment is a weapon. Still only using a 225. Not seen a single weapon drop that's any good for me that I can actually roll on or I'm prioritized on in 25-man. Another trinket would be nice as well, but actually, to be fair, for a character that's got less than 2 days /played, this gear's looking pretty good. I don't really plan on doing a lot else with the priest outside of raiding. I log on Tuesdays at 2 AM my time and raid till 5 AM my time to go and do 25-man. If there's any continuation on Thursday, then I'm doing the same on Thursday. And at the moment, I've been raiding with them Fridays as well at 2 a.m. my time till 5 a.m. my time, doing 10-man. So that's why my streaming schedule is a little bit all over the place, because obviously it's very difficult to maintain raiding on EU in the evenings and early mornings on NA, and then being awake enough to stream during the day. It's all just a bit all over the place at the moment. But I might start streaming the NA raids, so again, if you want to see some Shadow Priest POV, then obviously come over and watch. Or if you want to see some Holy Paladin POV, then Wednesday evenings, I'm going to start streaming that. Once I can take a backseat, because at the moment I raid lead, but once we get to a point where someone else can just raid lead and I can just sit there and talk to you guys while spamming Holy Light, then you'll see me there. My off-spec on this is actually Holy, and I've started getting some Holy gear, and I'll be honest with you, I really like Holy. I really wanted to be Disc on this character, at least as my off-spec, but their Disc Priest is absolutely solid in this guild, so there was absolutely no point in me having an off-spec Disc spec. But I've got a few bits of gear just sat waiting. I've got some hit items here for when I do actually replace the weapon. So I actually got the belt crafted that I've never equipped yet, because obviously I'm already over the hit cap, so there's no point me using that belt at the moment, but I've got hit items ready for when I can replace this weapon and still not go under the hit cap. But I do have like a couple of bits, well, a few bits for Holy as well. I've got the 2-piece, I've got the shoulders ready to actually go and get as well. Nothing amazing, but you know, I'm building up a half decent healing off spec as well. So if you're on Mancrick and ever need a healer or a Shadow Priest, ping me on my Discord. And now for me, the big one. This is where I've been spending most of my time. And I'll be completely honest with you, I didn't really want to talk about it on YouTube, because the second I say, oh, I'm playing something else, everyone's like, oh my god, you're bored of Wrath, oh, you're burnt out because you're playing too much and all that rubbish. And actually, it's nothing to do with that. I'm probably just fortunate enough to get a lot more time to play the game than some other people. So just playing Wrath, yeah, sure, I can raid on 2-3 characters a week. Oh, I didn't mention the third character. I do raid on my Feral Druid as well, but that pretty much, the gear hasn't changed since the last update, because all I do on it really is 10-mans and 25 ult runs. So until I actually start getting in splits on that, its gear's not going to change. I think it's like 4.9k gear score. But anyway, Cata, as I say, I'm playing WoW ridiculous amounts, especially Wrath. Like, I'm constantly on Wrath, but now that's dying down and I can just raid log on the Shadow Priest, raid log on the Paladin, even raid log on the Druid. Needed something else to fill my time. And when I see Cataclysm basically being inevitable when it comes to Classic, I don't see Blizzard going any other direction than going Cataclysm Classic. I thought now would be a good time to get ready. And the reason I say it's a good time to get ready is because a fresh Cata server launched about a week ago, which is Whitemane. So I've spent a lot of time at the moment on one character in particular, which is the Paladin. This is the only one that's raid ready when the raids actually open. But as you can see, I'm pretty much using this as my way of getting the YouTube channel ready for Cata Classic. It's too early to start making content about Cata, in my opinion. I do have one video coming out in the next couple of days, which is about Cata features, and features that I think are actually really good and overlooked, but it's not specifically about Cata, if you know what I mean. It's more talking about how the guild roster thing works in it, and how you can see professions and archaeology, all the features that are actually really good, and often Cata's looked at in a negative light, and I don't think it should be looked at in a negative light, especially after playing it a lot more and refreshing my memory on it all over the last week. It's surprisingly close to Classic, as in the difference between Wrath and Cata. Other than the stat bloat where everything just gets crazy with health pools and everything, the actual rotations and priority systems for all the classes is pretty much the same, but just a little bit more complex. But as I say, it's been out a week, and you can see I've already got 85 Paladin, 85 Priest, 85 Warlock, 85 Mage, 85 Warrior, and I'm going to get these 3 to 85 in the next couple of days. But basically, the whole goal of it, ignore some of the character names. Yeah, I'm a child. What can I say? But yeah, the whole goal of it is to literally raid on every single class and spec and be able to tell you guys what I think, in my opinion, is the best going into Cata Classic. Things that you can start getting ready, how professions work, the best professions for raiding, all that sort of standard stuff that we spoke about when Wrath was coming up, because while you were all raiding in SSC, TK, BT, and I'm not particularly a fan of TBC, I was just playing TBC to get to Wrath, I was already raiding on Wrath servers to give you the information that you need before you actually need it. So I'm going to be doing the same again here, where I'm going to completely no-life this outside of raids on Wrath, and just be able to give you as much information as physically possible. As I say, everything from professions, to raiding, to dungeons, to gearing, heroics, PvP, literally everything. I've got a plan already, a sheet with about 350 videos on. The thing is, if I was to start making them right now, I wouldn't get them all finished before Cata Classic launches. So I do need to start them a bit earlier than some of you may like, but I'm thinking around sort of June time, so middle of the year, because then we're probably only about 7 or 8 months off from Cata Classic. Like, that would be my guesstimation anyway. But the Paladin is going to be the one that I raid on first. It's got pretty decent gear. I'm fully gemmed. I could put the bigger gems in, but at the moment I'm pretty poor because I don't do farming. But PvP weapon, it's got the alchemy trinket, it's got its professions, not maxed, but they're high enough to obviously get the benefit from the professions. So I'm alchemy inscription on this, but that was purely for making some gold at the start of the expansion. But also, you get the nice big intellect enchant on the shoulders, as well as I say, the alchemy trinket and the effects that you get from alchemy, where you get like the flask of enhancement, for example, for when I'm just doing heroics and stuff. But I'm mostly heroic geared, or I've got the odd epic, as you can see. That one's from Valor. I've got the PvP weapon. I've got a reputation belt. I shouldn't be using cloth. I really should be full plate, because I'm actually losing 5% total intellect. But as I get plate items to replace these, obviously I'll replace them. But basically, this character I'm going to be doing some more heroics on later, and I'll be streaming quite a bit on this character as well over the next couple of weeks. So if you want to see some of the Cata heroics and that, you know where to go. But that's about it, really. That's the main things that I've been up to over the last couple of weeks. It's going to get more and more hectic the more time that I'm putting into Cata, because at the moment raids are not open. They open in the next couple of weeks. So once I'm raiding on 5 or 6 characters on Cata every week, as well as all my Wrath of the Lich King characters, I'm going to be pretty pushed for time to get a lot else done. But I will keep you up to date along all of this journey, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know it's not your standard like this is how you do this. It is just a bit of a personal video, things that I've been doing and how things are going. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.